Mic check. Mic check.
Mic check, mic check.
Two, 1, 2. Mic check. So Luke 11. Luke 11 and 5 through 10.
Mm-hmm.
And impurity. That just means persistent. That's what that word means.
Okay,
But
I got you. That answered it.
yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
I just thought that was a twist, and I just didn't get to look that word up yet. But
Yeah. It just means persistent. It
yeah,
just means
so that's the same parable. It's just another parable that he gave, just like the other one that he gave of the unjust judge. That
yeah,
same thing, same concept.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Always praying and not fainting.
Fame, gotcha.
Hmm
I missed this one in the lesson that I did, but that I didn't realize that that's what that was talking about
But
too.
even in a sense, it's kind of also that's why I ran from First John 3, because I ran here after First John 3 is to kind of show you it's like, because in First John 3 it talk about, hey man, if you got this world's goods and you see your brother in need and you don't give, like, how can you call yourself a servant of God? So it kind of it kind of can show how we should be towards our brother, but at the same time, is showing you, because what I was using with this is just showing you how God is always in the mode of giving. We should be as the same. That's only if you're able to. You know what I mean? So it's just still showing how, that love we're supposed to have towards our brothers or towards our sisters. So, in this sense right here, hey, he showed in First John chapter 3, hey, you're a murderer if you hate your brother. And in so, hey, if you got goods of this world and you see your brother in need and you don't help out, how you consider yourself to be his brother in Christ? And then it went into saying the same thing right here. If you ask of God, he'll give. You know what I mean? Like, let's go and read that right quick. I'm just paraphrasing. I know you say you got it, but I'm doing a lot of paraphrasing. I think I'm messing it up. First John, First John chapter.
3.
My bad. Yeah, First John chapter 3 and on 15. You go ahead.
Whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer, and you know that no murderer hath eternal life abiding in him.
So okay. So not skip down to 17. No, this is where we at.
But whoso hath his world's good, and seeth his brother have need, and shutteth up his bowels of compassion from him, how dwelleth the love of God in him?
You see that? You got, so we ran from here to Luke, because in Luke, we talking about, hey, man, let me get a couple of loaves of bread
Bread.
because I got some people coming in town, you know what I mean, and I ain't got nothing for them. So, let me get a couple of loaves of bread. And it's kind of like old boy was in the bed with his children. He was like, nah, I can't get up. It's almost, it's saying the same sense right here, because now it's saying here, but whoso had this world's goods and see his brother have need and shut up his bowels of compassion from him, how dwell the love of God in him? What is saying 18?
My little children,
Yep.
let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth.
You see that? So, saying I love you, but you ain't operating in deed or in truth. You just operating in word. You supposed to be operating in deed and truth. That meaning, just like, hey, how you gonna pass by a homeless person and be like, hey man, be ye warm and filled? Nah, you got to put in some works. You got to stop, probably give them a blanket, or probably give them a coat, or probably give them some food. You know, because that's why the Bible says faith without works is dead. So you actually showing your faith through your works. So in the same sense right here, you know, it's like, man, you sitting up talking about you love, but you ain't showing love by your works. You showing love by your mouth. So now look at what it's saying 19 now.
And hereby we know that we are of the truth,
Yep.
and shall assure our hearts before him.
Go ahead.
For if our heart condemn us, God is greater than our heart,
Yep.
and knoweth all things.
Yep.
Beloved, if our heart condemn us not, then have we confidence towards God.
22.
And whatsoever we ask, we receive of him, because we keep his commandments,
Yep.
and do those things that are pleasing in his
So
sight.
now this go back to that Luke 11. It's getting that now. Jesus saying, hey, man, whatever you ask for or whatever I'm going to give. You know, so now, in that Luke 11, let's go and read it real quick. This just tie right back to Luke 11, but, I ran here to show us that, hey, man, if we doing what we supposed to be doing by God, by keeping his commandments, look at what he going to do. He going to reward us. He going to reward us. So now in this, but also on top of that, man, if we able, we supposed to be able to, show the same type of love towards our brother as to how Christ showed love unto us. So we supposed to be a small replica, or we supposed to be operating like Christ. So now back to this Luke 11, and look at what it say now. Luke 11 and on. You can get that, Friday.
And he said unto them, which of you shall have a friend, and shall go in unto him at midnight, and say unto him, friend, lend me 3 loaves.
Same thing. You got the goods of this world, and you decide not to give. You know what I mean? Like, how are you considered, of God? Saying the same thing right here, Hey, which of you shall have a friend and shall go unto him at midnight and say unto him, friend, lend me 3 loaves, verse 6.
For a friend of mine in his journey is come to me, and I have nothing to set before him.
Man, I got some peoples coming in town, man. Like I was saying, I got boys coming up from Atlanta. You know what I mean? And like, shoot, I ain't got nothing to feed them, man. Man, bring something on over. Or let me get this. Now, what's your response going to be? Go ahead, verse 7.
And he from within shall answer and say, trouble me not. The door is now shut, and my children are with me in bed. I cannot rise and give thee.
So, don't bother me right now, man. We in the house sleeping. Now, verse 8.
I say unto you,
Yep.
though he will not rise and give him,
Yep.
because he is his friend,
Yep.
yet because of his importunity.
So we talking about the friend that's asking for the bread. Because of his importunity, or
Gotcha.
because of his persistently asking,
Gotcha.
he will rise and give him as many as he needs.
That's right.
Now look at what it's comparing to verse 9.
And I say unto you, ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and it you shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you.
Go ahead.
For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened.
So, now I get into, hey, man, if your son asks for bread, you're going to give him a stone.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what it's going to get into now. So,
Right.
But that's really what he going to, just like the unjust judge. She continuing asking the judge to avenge her of her adversary. You know what I mean? So it's like you constantly going to the Lord, being persistent about asking, and he going to reward you. If you seek, you going to find. So.
Praise the Lord. Yep. That was a good one.
That's why I had said, too, it ain't everything now, because, like, everything you don't need. Some stuff we don't need. 20, 30 million, we don't need that. You know what I mean? That might take you straight to hell, But
Luke 11 on today's class. Yeah.
I just asked my husband, I think it was last Sabbath, about Matthew 25 and hold on, 34 through whatever 34 through I guess 44, 45, and I asked him if that was the key. You know, when they was talking about when Jesus was talking about giving into the stranger and stuff. So that kind of 25, 34 through if that was the key, you know, to what we need to do outside of keeping the commandments. It kind of sounded like he was going on what you were saying, Brother DeMar.
Matthew 25, man.
Mm.
Matthew 25 and what?
Yeah, that was last week. Yeah, it's something. It's just when you get to the poor, you lend to the Lord. You know what I'm saying? And and as far as the keys, that's just part of it.
Yo.
You know? Oh yeah, but I'm a double dip back on it. Go to Matthew 16. Since we ain't got unless somebody else got a question.
Mm-mm. Just expound. Go ahead and expound, bro.
Okay,
Go ahead.
let me.
Yeah, you already on it. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah.
So
'Cause
what's the question?
we don't
Sister Candace?
piggyback, nah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what is
Oh, the question was it's the same thing going along the lines of that Luke 11 about giving to the poor.
Okay.
She was saying was that the keys
to the kingdom.
to the
basically.
kingdom,
Gotcha. You just saying that's
and
part of it.
that's just part of it.
Gotcha.
Matthew 16 and pick it up at 13. Matthew 16 and 13.
When Jesus came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, "Whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am?"
Right. So who people say I am? Go ahead.
And they said, "Some say that thou art John the Baptist, some Elijah, and others Jeremiah, or one of the prophets."
Even one of the prophets. Go ahead.
He said unto them, "But whom say ye that I am?"
But check Peter. What Peter said? Go
And
ahead.
Simon Peter answered and said, "Thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God."
But Peter was like, you know what? Nah, he said, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. What Jesus' reply was.
And Jesus answered and said unto him, "Blessed are you, Simon Barjona, for flesh and blood have not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven."
Right, because everybody was saying something different. Everybody saying he's a prophet, but Peter was like, hey, you the Son of the living God. You the Christ. You the one. So it's like Jesus was like, hey, nobody couldn't have revealed this to you. It had to have been the Father that revealed this to you. Go ahead.
Verse 18, "And I say also unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it."
Right, when he talking about upon this rock, talking about him, because he's the cornerstone. He's the cornerstone, talking about Jesus. But verse 19.
"And I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven."
He said, I'm going to give to you what?
The keys of the
keys
kingdom
of
of
the
heaven.
kingdom. And what Peter and them came with? They came with that word. So that's why I was like, it's all together. Commandments, fruits of the Spirit, giving to the poor, and all that is all part of the gospel. So he said here, I would give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Go ahead.
"And whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven."
Right. So in other words, whatever you got going on down here is gonna be good in earth. We all gonna be on one accord. But that's just all I wanted to add on to that. But you wanna go ahead, bro? Mm-hmm.
guess it's not a question. I'm just saying, is that the only place that we could find like reference that? Because I can't find that really nowhere else. Where I only find that in Genesis 10, where it says, the people from Japheth, and these are the isles of the Gentiles. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And then the other people don't say these are the isles of of Ham, or these are the isles of Shem. It just says these are the families. So like when you look at the isles of something, meaning a place, you know what I'm saying? That's what I always refer to an isle. Like if you say, hey, this is in the grocery aisle, or this is in the produce aisle, this is in the meat aisle, you would say, all right, that's a place. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So that's a place where, you know what I'm saying, where I always thought about it, this is a place where these people are, not that's who those people, just those people are. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I looked at it. It's like, if you're in the grocery store, I say, all right, go to the manager, or go to the clerk, or go to the cashier. You're not going to go to a place. You're going to look for a certain person. But it says in Genesis 10, it says these are the isles of them, meaning these are where these people are.
Right.
And I know that, you really could. It would be hard to say that with, maybe Ham, because we were kind of dwelling with them too, even in Egypt. So we had Israel with them. We had Israel with, you know what I'm saying, Ham, or Shin with Ham. My mic is off on that. So, you know what I'm saying? So I just, and there are other places where I've thought that, where I've read, and maybe just in history or books or encyclopedias, where it talks about a Gentile is somebody who's not an Israelite. You know what I'm saying? So that's just a stranger. But a Hamite would be a stranger. So how come it's not a Gentile? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Are we only getting that from Genesis, or the Hamites Gentiles too? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of something that is.
Right. Okay.
I mean, we could maybe read that.
Yeah, we can
I
go
know
to
that it talks about that in Genesis 10.
yeah, we can go to Genesis 10. We can start from there. Genesis 10, and we're going to pick this up at verse 1. Genesis 10 and 1. Go ahead, bro.
Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood.
Uh-huh.
The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tyrus. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Riphath, and Togarmah. And the sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, and Kittim, and Dodanim. By these were the islands of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families, in their nations.
Okay. All right. Matter of fact, let's do this. Let me go. Let's look up the word Gentile. Cause it says Gentile here. This is just Google. Gentile, a person who is not Jewish. The word stems from the Hebrew term goy, which means a nation, and was applied by the Hebrews to any other nation, plural, especially with the definition on the clues. The nations meant nations of the world that were not Hebrew. So trying to find, because Gentiles is also can be referred to other nations other than
Other than Israel, right?
no, well, other than
Anybody?
white folk. It just mean other nations, and it gets more and more clear with Gentiles when you're dealing with the Book of Acts, where you can see in these locations where Paul was visiting, when he's referring to Gentiles, it was more white folks, going through the Book of Acts. But I'm trying to remember, Mark, in the where it says Gentile in the Old Testament, other than Genesis 10, because yeah, because I remember I remember what's the old boy name um I think that's where he brung that to me. He brung that, and he would say, oh boy, they used to come here, dark skin Vince, yeah, and he would, mm-hmm,
Isaiah too. Isaiah talking about that. That
the,
it say that, in 42, the light in the
light into
Gentile.
the Gentiles,
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I Yeah, I always
wait a minute, I'm sorry, wait a minute, so you said they only referring to Japhet?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm kind of
Okay.
looking for. Like,
Yeah.
is it just referring to
Yes,
That's what, yeah.
in
Mm-hmm.
in the, in the Old Testament? But
Well, it's,
any other nation
in the,
other than okay,
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 Mm-hmm.
that makes sense.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Yeah. Judges.
But even when you look at Judges chapter 4, we talking about Japheth, but we just talking about like a compound. But inside of this compound, this is the people that's made up in this compound, or that's the best way I can explain what Chef or like a village, or it's like a location, but who majorly dwelt there was Gentiles.
Yeah.
So like Judges chapter 4
13.
or 2. You can start at verse 1, but it's in verse 2.
Okay.
And the children of Israel again did evil in the sight of the Lord when Ehud was dead. And the Lord sold them into the hand of Jabin, king of Canaan, that reigned in Hazor, the captain of whose host was Sisera, which dwelt in Harosheth of the Gentiles.
So it's like we talking about an area, but that area kind of make up of Gentiles.
So that's basically it. So that's kind of what I'm getting at. Anytime we referring to Gentiles, it's kind of referring to a place where they are, where these people are most likely are. Like, and I'm trying to
Just in this context,
just
in this context right here.
so that's why I can't find. That's the only that's basically the only thing that I can find. Like anytime they not talking, it seems like anyway. I just maybe I haven't found it. But when we talking about the Gentiles, like it'll say where the Gentiles are, and it's kind of like, all right, y'all not there. Israelites is not there, and if we was, maybe it would just say this family, or or like kind of like specify, but it's not like, I think from accounts like in like we in the Old Testament, like we was in a lot of these other areas, but these areas where the Gentiles were, were we not there like that? Is that why he's just referring to the Gentiles as their place as opposed to, that people? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, it's hard for me to explain. It's like we were around, like I said, we were in Egypt.
Right.
The land of Egypt was, you had Ham and you had Shem there.
Right.
It don't now. You could have had. We dwelled amongst them.
Oh yeah.
But
Right.
when they talking about the Japheth, when they talking about the Gentiles, are they just referring to them as the Gentiles, the place where they are, because we wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't around those people like that. So that's why they always referring to that people, the people from Japheth, as the Gentiles. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Maybe
This-
maybe the people in Egypt was Gentiles too, but they not gonna say, y'all with it, y'all in the Isles of the Gentiles, cause we was there too. You know what I'm saying? So how could you know what I'm saying? How could you say that?
That's not what was in Egypt. I mean, like, what was in Egypt was Egyptian.
But Egyptians don't come from Shem, they come from Ham.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, he's not referring to the people as Ham as Gentiles. Is he not referring to them as? Are they Gentiles? And he's just not, and they just not. It's just not written like that in the Bible because we're not there. He's not gonna say it. Like I said, they always referring. Unless we can find it somewhere else. They're referring to, anytime they're referring to the Gentiles, they're saying in the Isles of the Gentiles. Or here. That's why here they are though. Here they're saying.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I started off my question with, can we find reference to the Gentiles and anything else when they're not just referring to their place in the Old Testament? Everywhere in the Old Testament, or the place, well, I've only seen one, and I know that I have read this before. I think I've seen this, but it's not really just. It's referring to these people, where these people were. Like it'll say the Gentiles in their land. Or in the Isles of the Gentiles. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find.
Right.
Where are they referring to?
Isaiah 60 verse 3.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Isaiah 54 verse 3. Isaiah 49 and 22.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was talking about, but
Isaiah 42 and 6.
Which one? We going in any of those? Or?
let's start at Isaiah 60 first.
Well, yeah.
60. Mm-hmm. I'll read into it, Joseph. You'll probably, you know what I'm saying? Gonna read into it at one.
Yeah, you pick it up at verse 1.
Isaiah 60 and verse 1. Arise, shine, for thy light is.
Yeah, I'm there. Isaiah 68.
Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord shall rise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee.
Go ahead.
And the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and kings to the brightness of thy rising. Lift up thine eyes round about and see. All they gather themselves together, they come to thee. Thy sons shall come from far, and thy daughters shall be nursed at thy side. Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thy heart shall fear and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. Let me keep going.
Yeah, keep.
Oh.
Matter of fact, jump.
Yeah. So how do we know that this is only JPEG? Like, is you know what I'm saying? Like, how do we know that this ain't people of?
Oh no,
how
we
do know
gonna.
It's not people from which name? Ishmael. Anyway, anybody who's not Israel. How do we know that they're not talking about just people that aren't of Israel? How come this? Where is?
I see what
Nah,
you're
we gonna
saying.
jump down to jump down to 8.
Verse 8.
Uh-huh.
Who are these that fly as a cloud and as the doves to their windows?
Uh-huh.
Surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of the Lord thy God, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee.
Right. It says, surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first.
That's a Gentile.
Right. So who are the ships of Tarshish? When you go to
So Tarshish is like Turkey and
right, that's Gentiles. Yeah. But these boats, when they talk about how Israel gonna get to the wilderness, this is how they gonna get there. From these ships right here. It says, surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first. So it's like they gonna help. You know what I'm saying? Israel get to this place of safety. But ships of Tarshish, that's Gentiles right there.
okay. So that question is basically so what we were saying is back in the day when the Old Testament was written, they didn't refer to anybody. They only referred to Gentiles as the people from Japheth. But in the New Testament, anybody who's not an Israelite is referred to as a Gentile. Is that what we were saying?
Right? They can be
They can be
they
Gentiles.
consider but they just consider as another nation other than Israel.
But they're not considered a Gentile.
Right? As white folk.
I see what you're saying. Like I think because Isaiah 42, we can read Isaiah 42 too. It talks about the Gentiles too. I mean, if you read it, it looked like it can refer to a
Like this look like
any
it
other.
refers to, like you said, the people that's from the New Testament. This scripture right here in Isaiah. So this is because they talking about Tarshish and these is places that Paul went and you know what I'm saying. All of these, this is stuff that we can see from the New Testament. They went
Right.
in these places. But in the New Testament, like Brother DeMarcus was saying, they'll refer to anybody who's not an Israelite, basically.
In most cases.
In most
In most cases, yeah.
In some cases. I would say.
Yeah. So that's the only reason why I was trying. That's not the reason why, but that's what I was trying to figure out. Basically, is anybody who's not an Israelite a Gentile, or is a Gentile only somebody who comes from Japheth?
I think it can be. I believe that it can be, and I can read some in the New Testament too. But I think it can be any other nations that are not Israel. It can also refer to the heathen nations. It can also refer. Heathen is another word that refers to not Israel. You know what I'm saying? Because if we read Isaiah 42, it don't necessarily. Where it taught, it just Isaiah 42. Let's just read it, verse 1.
Behold my servant, whom I behold, my elect, in whom my soul delighteth. I have put my spirit upon him. He shall bring forth judgment to the Gentiles. He shall not cry, nor lift up, nor cause his voice to be heard in the street. A bruised reed shall he not break, and a smoke flax shall he not quench. He shall bring forth judgment unto truth. He shall not fail, nor be discouraged, till he have set judgment in the earth, and the isles shall wait for his law.
So right there, when it talk about Gentiles, that look like that can just mean bring forth judgment to all the nations, because he's gonna do that. It don't really look like it's talking about a place. Jump down to verse 6 right there, Joseph. Read that.
I, the Lord, have called thee in righteousness, and I will hold thy hand, and will keep thee, and give thee for a covenant of the people, for a light of the Gentiles.
For a light of the Gentiles, to do what?
To open the blind eyes,
Uh-huh.
to bring out the prisoners from the prison,
Uh-huh.
and them that sit in darkness out of the prison house.
So I just don't necessarily see that it actually just only talking about Japheth. I just think the context of wherever you read the word Gentiles can be qualified. It got to be qualified. It can certain points be talking about the physical seed of Japheth, and then sometimes it could just be talking about, hey, just how they live their life, like we see in the New Testament. Um, uh, because in the New Testament it didn't never make no differentiation. I think it just used the Gentiles as just other nations.
Yeah. Go to right.
Yeah, yeah, Dell.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Then you gotta think about it too. In those times, they were saying Jew and Israel, so they wasn't even talking about the. If you, a lot of people would say, "Oh, I'm not talking about the northern nation. I'm talking about the Jew." They was referring to the Jew as Judah and Benjamin. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like
Go to go to
it
Acts
mixes
15.
you up a little bit.
Oh, you got something, Joseph? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Go to
ahead.
Matthew 15, because here's a distinction where he's separating from one nation to another, where he's talking about. Go to Matthew 15 and pick it up at 21.
Then Jesus went thence and departed into the coast of Tyre and Sidon.
Mhm.
And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast and cried unto him, saying, Have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with a devil.
Wait a minute. So this is a woman that's a Canaanite.
Right.
She from the land of Ham. So you have where they place, this is a Gentile talking about white folk. This is a Canaanite. It's talking about a black-faced woman from the land of Ham. She from the land of Ham. But keep going.
But he answered her not a word, and his disciples came and besought him, saying, Send her away, for she crieth after us.
Uh-huh.
But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Oh, now we talking about this. We got two different nations here.
Mm-hmm.
He said, hey, I came not but to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But we ain't mentioned Gentile here.
Right.
But we all talking about another nation.
Right.
Canaanite woman. You know what I'm saying? So you do have where it's a difference between Gentiles and other nations, and then you got Israel.
Right. But I
You don't get it? Oh.
let's look at it.
It's hard. It's hard. I mean, not to say it's hard because it's not salvation based. It's just that sometimes I be getting confused with it because and that's just with all the scripture. You know what I'm saying? You see something here and they phrase something like this here, and then they don't phrase it. They phrase it a different way somewhere else. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I guess that could be because of the times too. You know what I'm saying? Because
I don't know, but this right
But
here.
no, this shows different. Yeah, definitely.
This-
But what
this
I was just saying when it uses the word, Gentiles, sometimes it could. I think it could be summing up all of the nations because it just don't clarify it. And what I was saying, in like,
do you think it's a nation of people though? When you say a clear like, no, he's saying that there are times that it refers to all people. Is that what you were saying? Like a group of all people?
I guess I have to take that back because I guess if it's saying Gentiles in Ephesians and Paul was sent to minister to the Ephesians, he wrote them. Those were letters he was writing to them. So those are all white people.
Them all white people.
Yeah. So those are all white people. Nah, I was talking about more. I was talking about Paul's reign. Yeah.
But that Isaiah 42 though,
Uh huh.
like, isn't that Isaiah 42 quoted in Acts? This is a question. Like, was that? Because I heard what you said as far as it could be talking about anybody.
Mhm.
But was that Isaiah 42 referring to
In Acts 15. That's what I was just thinking too. Probably could have. Because when we talking about the writings of, when we talking about all in the New Testament where it was talking about the Gentiles, all of those was Paul's writing when you see he talk about Gentiles in the New Testament. You know.
Like they wasn't really talking about Gentiles before Cornelius, huh? Was they? Because remember, that's all of that is after. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of when they said, "All right, now you go teach the, you know what I'm saying, the other nations."
Right.
Well, so is that before that, or like they mentioning those people before then, or
I don't know.
Gentiles before Cornelius.
yes? I mean, of course they mention it because we see it in the Old Testament.
Right.
But how they mention it after, like when he's got instructions to go preach to the Gentiles, and you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I think he's talking
What
about.
was it Peter that was that he had the dreams or whatever, and was unclean and
Peter was sent to Cornelius. Or Cornelius was sent to Peter.
Yeah, I think. See, I think with that misconception, because I know, like you have a lot of 7-Day Adventists. They call themselves Gentiles, and it's like, how are you a Gentile? You know, what I mean, Gentiles is is European people, but they call themselves Gentiles. And I think with that, with when you lump when it I think that's where the confusion come in when you try to when you lumping everything together and calling everybody a Gentile. You a Gentile other than Israel. With Gentile it means another nation, but we know who the nation is.
Gotcha.
And they don't understand the fact that, Gentiles, according to Genesis chapter 10, these are European people
Yeah.
that stretches out,
Yeah.
from China, Asia, Rome. But,
But what cleared up is Acts 15. We can read it.
Yeah.
And you'll see that. That's how I know. This made me feel like it's talking about the children of Japheth. Acts 15. Remember when they was going when he told them that the Gentiles don't stress them about getting circumcised
Right.
before they get baptized, you
Right.
know, but that they turn from, we'll see it, but this clearly makes that difference right here.
Yep.
This why
Yeah, that'll work.
I mean,
Shoot, pick it up at verse 1.
verse 1, yeah.
Yeah.
And certain men which came down from Judea taught the brethren and said, except you be circumcised after the manner of Moses, you cannot be saved.
Right, so this is where they would
Acts 15 and
Acts
1.
15 and 1. Oh man.
But it's really right there in that 14, because if you look at 14 and 27, a couple verses up, you see that? Where
Right.
he say he opened the door of faith unto the Gentiles.
Yeah, I'm gonna take them somewhere else too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right after this.
But that makes sense, though.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Pick up the read verse 1 again.
And certain men which came down from Judea taught the brethren and said, except you be circumcised after the manner of Moses, you cannot be saved.
Right. It says certain men which came down from Judea taught the brethren, said, except you be circumcised. So they was basing their salvation from circumcision. So they was like, hey, if you ain't circumcised, then you can't be saved. This is what Israel was teaching at one point.
Right.
If you wasn't circumcised, you wasn't saved. Go ahead.
When therefore Paul and Barnabas had no small dissension and disputation with them, they determined that Paul and Barnabas and certain other of them should go up to Jerusalem unto the apostles and elders about this question. And being brought on their way by the church, they passed through Phoenice and Samaria, declaring the conversion of the Gentiles. And they caused great joy unto all the brethren.
Right. It says, and being brought on their way by the church, they passed through Phoenice and Samaria, declaring the conversion of the Gentiles. Now we ain't talking about no Hamites. We talking about some white folks right here. This is what we talking about. And we ain't talking about no Israelites who didn't think they was Israel.
Right.
We talking about some white folks right here. Jump down to 5. Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it ain't. It's just saying every time I see it.
That's
about a place where
right.
These people are.
And that's why you know that any places that you see, I ain't saying that ain't no black folks there, because we driven all over the place.
Right.
But talking about a landmass or a portion, you know what I'm saying? That's theirs. Because we don't have no landmass but Israel, or no portion of nothing. We just, we citizens here in the United States, but this ain't our land.
That's another reason why the Lord didn't let Israel get seared, Mount Seir, because that was to Esau. He strictly said, nah, you ain't getting this. This is for your brother. So when you look at lands, like that's what make a nation. Land, language, religion, that's what make a nation. So even when you look at the fact that it's just talking about a location, like he said, that's their location. That's where the majority
Rule.
is gonna rule and inhabit. And that's what God gave them. That's the landmass that God gave them.
What I find is that majority of people, not just just people that you speak to, you know what I'm saying. Sometimes they, it's hard for them to understand, that most of the people came over here and for slavery are Israelites, you know what I'm saying? And because that you can see that stuff, you could read in history, you could look, you could go back and do the rhyme, you could look at curses and all that, so you could see that. You know what I'm saying? Now that's because that's a no question, that's a no-brainer. You could see that our people had came over here, and majority of the people, you know what I'm saying, black people that's over here, come from that. You know what I'm saying? Not to say you don't got. I mean, you got people that's light. You got people that look white, and to me, because I brought this up before. Because I've had brothers say that that you're Israelite because of the color of your skin, and honestly, I can't, that's not something I could say definitively, you know what I'm saying, because I got friends who, you know what I'm saying, they, his pops look like me, and you got 3 generations of males, and they look white, you know what I'm saying, but this wasn't happening in Paul's time and back, because those people knew, Paul could break down where he was from. I'm from the line of Benjamin. I knew, you knew this person got that person. It wasn't that much. But now we live in a society where stuff is so mixed that that's very well possible that you could have somebody who actually does look white, and you know what I'm saying. The reason why I'm saying this is I know, I got a friend. His pops is black. You Spanish. She's from Spain, but she's European. You know what I'm saying? He's lighter. You could tell that he got a little. You know what I'm saying? But now he got children with somebody who's Spaniard. You know what I'm saying? They look even more like than him. Now what happens when if he do the same thing? Like
Right.
you could, you know what I'm saying? So that can happen. But for the majority, we know that most of us is Israel. You know what I'm saying? But it can happen. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing from vice versa. You know what I'm saying? From what I think anyway.
Right.
I'm
But
just going off of my,
you are. But the thing is, you are who your father is.
that's what I'm saying. So they father
Yeah.
is
It's
Yeah.
black.
For instance, if I'm Israel, right? I'm an Israelite. Now I'm married a Caucasian. I have a baby.
Right.
They probably not gonna look exactly like me. They might be very, very much lighter than me. Now what happens if they marry a Caucasian?
It's still Israel.
It's still right.
It's
It's
still
still
Israel.
Israel though.
Yeah.
He gonna be like, hey, look at my granddad.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
So, but you're saying it's not always based on like what you see.
You can't definitively say that just because you. Or what if I mixed in Hamite? Are you gonna say that I know because you know what I'm saying? You can't. That's hard to really say. You can't really. That's something that you can't definitively say. You know what I'm saying? What if it had a couple Gentiles and then I mixed in some Hamites?
Right.
And, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you are who your father is, but your father was a Hamite. You know what I'm saying? You got a Hamite in there. It's that's why it's kind of, we can only go off of the curses and what we know that the majority
Right.
of us is because of you see what happened, and that's the curses. You know what I'm saying? So that's no question.
Right.
But I couldn't just tell somebody, you're Israelite because you know what I'm saying because of your color of your skin. It's like, I mean,
Well,
but we can read that, but we know that that's not the significant part. The significant part is doing what you're, you know what I'm saying, doing what you're supposed to be doing as an Israelite. You know what I'm saying, the works. But it's and I'm only saying it's a lot of this going on right now. We have like History Month, and you know what I'm saying. So that's why it was on my mind and seeing stuff.
right.
So it's kind of like.
Nah, it's all good. Go to I'm sorry. Go to Romans 9. Go to Romans 9. Cause not to cut you off. All we have is the foundation is Deuteronomy 28. We got Deuteronomy 28, and we can understand these curses, and we can identify ourselves within these curses.
That's why I'm saying. So every year, I've been doing this for 4 years. You know, Brother Bowie, he do a whole series. So
Right.
I've been listening to that for 4 years. You know what I'm saying? And he gets deep into it. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? Bringing out encyclopedias, bringing out this, bringing out that. So when we talking about a masses, the masses of the people, yeah, that's a fact. But then when you look at I can show you my picture on my phone. Like when you look at that, it's like, oh yeah, he's an Israelite. Then you look at 3 generations down, you're like, nah, he ain't no Israelite. But all the fathers is all come from him.
Right.
So how you know? So you know what I'm saying? It's we far from that. Like where everybody, for one, you've been in the tribe, and all your tribe has all been in this area. We got planes, airplanes. Oh, my whole family, we moved to this side of the earth. We moved to here. We moved to it's a lot of mixing. So in biblical times, it seemed like they could do that. They knew where they came from. These people, you know what I'm saying? I even got a brother who I talked to, and he's from Africa. And I had this conversation with him too, and he like, that's true. He's not denying what I'm saying, but he like, yo, listen, in Africa, it ain't really like that. We know our people. Like we came from, you know what I'm saying, and they kind of more tight knit over there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just talking about us who got dispersed. You know what I'm saying? Us who got dispersed. It's like our people was getting done wrong. We was doing this. You can mix it.
Right. But that's the big difference between us and them, cause they know where they from. They can Yeah, I'm from Africa, but hey, I'm from Nigeria. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Guinea.
Ghana. Yeah.
I'm from here. I'm from there.
That's what he's
You
saying.
know,
And he's saying that his people, you know, because he's of Israel. You know what I'm saying? Just like they still got Hamites, they got Israelites over there too. Same thing. He's like, yo, we knew we was Israel because of this. You know, certain things they do. My family from generation to generations, we all knew that we get circumcised. You know, the other people for some reason they didn't get it. He's just certain little clues that he's bringing in, and then he brought down. You know, he's made some calls to some brothers. He's traced his tried to chase. So, you know, he got in his heart like, yeah, our people is Israel. You know what I'm saying? And they are people who got, you know, who went to this part, went to that part. But for me anyway, just to tell somebody you know for a fact who you know your skin is like, I can't really I can't read that the way it says that. All,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I can't read it. You know what I'm saying? You can only go off of what the, you know what I'm saying? If you got common sense, you would know, yeah, yo, 90% of black people over there, they you know, they came over here on slaves. They Israel. You know
Right. Well, let's read this Romans 9. Romans 9, and pick this up at pick it up. Matter of fact, just read verse 6. Read verse 6.
Not as though the word of God had taken none effect.
All right. It says, not as the word of God, you know, have taken non effect, because it's gonna go forth. Go ahead.
For they are not all Israel which are of Israel.
Oh, but it says not all Israel is Israel. You know what I'm saying? So we can, you know, so most of we can be like, yeah, I'm Israel. But hey, but if you ain't go to Ecclesiastes 12. Ecclesiastes 12. And read verse 13. Give me 13.
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man.
Right, so you ain't fearing God and keeping these commandments. You say you Israel all day, but if you ain't doing this,
you ain't Israel.
because you have a physical part, and there's also a spiritual part, because you can have a Gentile who's doing this. So he would be and come into the covenant and everything.
Right.
So now he's what? He
God,
may not
yeah.
be physically Israel, but he'll be spiritually Israel, because he took upon the covenant.
Right.
And he decided to do this that was given to us.
Right.
So now you may have us that ain't trying to do this.
Right.
So there you know what I mean? Like,
Can I
not
add
all
something?
Israel is Israel,
Right.
because they ain't trying to do this.
Right.
You know, so you Israel, okay, yeah, that's why it says in Deuteronomy 30, where it talks about Deuteronomy 30. I've been sipping on this thing right here, trying to keep me up. Deuteronomy 30, and pick it up at verse 1.
And it shall come to
Little
pass.
bit. Mm-hmm.
And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither the Lord thy God hath driven thee,
Right. Go ahead.
and shall return unto the Lord thy God, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thy heart and with all thy
With all
soul.
our heart, and with all our soul. So it's like, now that you realize you Israel. Now, are you willing to fear God and keep these commandments? Now, are you calling these things to mind, the blessings and the curses? You know what I'm saying? So now it's like, okay, now I gotta do this.
Mm-hmm.
But not everybody's willing to do that. Fear God and keep his commandments. You know, so
That's right.
even within Israel, not everybody is Israel.
Right.
You know, right? And and far as with far as with the Gentiles, you got some Gentiles that's willing to come into this covenant.
Right.
Just like how we was gonna read in Acts chapter 15.
Mm-hmm. All them chapters, really. I was reading back. It was just talking about how you going through dealing with all them.
Mm-hmm.
I know, brother told me a long time ago. Acts, the book of Acts, is like that shows you like everything that went on. Like it's a good place to read, like that
Yeah.
whole book of Acts to see
Paul
who was
going to
Paul,
these
just
different places,
Yep.
these different European places,
Right.
and that's why you got Corinthians
Yes.
and all that. He's
Right.
writing these letters,
Right.
sending them letters off to them like, yo, pretty much stay strong or whatever. Don't let
Right.
nobody beguile you,
right.
things like
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
Sending them letters, so you have the difference within the nations. When it refers to Gentiles as Caucasian peoples. Like when we read in that Matthew, it pointed out the Canaan woman.
Mm-hmm.
It pointed her out. They ain't call her a Gentile. They got nah, she's from the land of Canaan.
Right.
But even Jesus was like, hey, I sent but to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. I only came for them. Letting you know, hey, he came for Israel. But he still end up blessing her. You know what I'm saying? But that's within the he do that here and that down here now and then. He did that with the Samaritan woman. You know what I'm saying? So he's pointing out you can see the difference within the nations, but even with Israel, we got people out here don't even know they like you can go to a Sunday church tomorrow and be like, yo, what's your who are y'all? They gonna call themselves Gentiles.
Mm-hmm.
Cause that's what's being taught.
To them. Yep.
And that come all the lies and come from what? Come from Rome. All them lies. I'm telling you, go to the church tomorrow, they're gonna call themselves Gentiles because they don't know.
That's where it must have been where it flipped up, because they was Paul. Well, no, Paul and them, that was the Rome. It was the Greeks before then, and then it was the Romans who basically had, took over everything and all that, right? Was it? I think it was the Greeks first who conquered Israel, and then it was the Romans.
Mm-hmm.
That's it though.
Yeah, that's the Dang, bro, you ain't got no charger for my phone. DeMarcus, you sleep? You got a charger? You got no charger? iPhone charger? Oh man,
I don't have one.
you ain't even have to say that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I just got this.
Let me see yo.
Android, this basically because that's the same one.
You got the one I got. That's the older one.
Oh, it's the old one. Oh, damn.
Hey, we in the same boat. No, the new iPhone got the C charger, but me and Joseph, we still got the one that got the yeah. Me, him, and Bree, yeah, like that look. Yeah, they get smart. They going with the universal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hold on, you don't have an iPhone charger at all?
I think I got one in my bag. I just got to go in there and check it.
Oh, okay, because I got one out there in the car if you want me to go get that one. You got one online too, Joseph.
Still going. Yeah. What's up with old boy?
Do I know the brother?
I don't know. Yeah, I was gonna go here, but I don't think there's no need. Cause even like right here, you got in Acts 22, you know, you got Paul. Paul was a Roman citizen, so you know what I'm saying. So it's not like Israel wasn't amongst, you know, Gentiles. You know what I mean?
Right. Cause well, like right now, right? It would be kind of like right
Same
now, right?
thing. Right
Like
now.
if you like, for example, uh, brother Duell, his son lives in China, and yeah, and you know if he has a kid with his wife in China, he's gonna be a citizen of China, but he Israel, just a citizen of that country. That's where he was born. You know, just like us right now. Our ID say United States,
United
but
States.
we from Israel. You know, we
Long way from home.
long way from home, but it's just
Can't even go there.
we've been dispersed.
Yeah, bro. Hopefully that I know it probably ain't really help much, but like Demarcus said, man, the elders got plenty of classes, you know, that go way in depth. Hey, bro.
I know that brother, the one that passed away, Mike Jones. He did that lesson at IOG a long time ago. Yup, Black History. And the other brother that
Ain't got
passed
nothing
away
I
with
can reach
cancer,
over here.
the skinny one. What was his name?
You ain't got nothing, man. Peanut butter, no jelly. No, I can't even use it. Yeah, so I can look at the live, look at the questions.
Got it right there.
Atlanta got ports all over the place. Okay, we got normal person. Where's the place of safety during the Great Tribulation? How large is it? Okay. How large is it? Go to go to the book of Daniel. Daniel. And book of Daniel chapter 11. Question is, where's the place of safety during the Great Tribulation? How large is it? Yeah, Daniel chapter 11. And pick it up at 36.
And the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god, and shall speak marvelous things against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished. For that is determined shall be done.
Go ahead.
Neither shall he regard the God of his fathers, nor the desire of women, nor regard any God, for he shall magnify himself above all.
Talking about this little horn right here coming out of Rome. It says, and the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god, and shall speak marvelous things against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished. For that is determined shall be done. Neither shall he regard the God of his fathers, nor desire of women. And you know what comes with Rome. You know, they have this thing where they don't marry. You know, they don't marry, and they do that they don't marry. I don't want to go into no details. They don't marry. It says, neither shall regard their God of their fathers, nor desire women, nor regard any God, for he shall magnify himself above all. That's why they call him the vicar of Christ. Philly die, whatever they call. 38.
But in his estate shall he honor the God of forces. And a God whom his fathers knew not shall he honor with gold and silver and with precious stones and pleasant things.
Go ahead.
Thus shall he do in the most strongholds with a strange God, whom he shall acknowledge and increase with glory. And he shall cause them to rule over many, and shall divide the land for gain.
41.
He shall enter also into the glorious land.
Oh, he going to enter also into the glorious land. Talking about Israel. Go ahead.
And many countries shall be overthrown.
Uh-huh.
But these shall escape out of his hand.
Oh, it says, but these shall escape out of his hand. Go ahead.
Even Edom and
Edom,
Moab, and the chief of the children of Ammon.
Oh, it says, and the chief of the children. All right, Hebrew. It says, and he shall enter also into the glorious land, and many countries shall be overthrown, but these shall escape out of his hand. Even Edom and Moab and the chief of the children of Ammon. These right here going to escape. So this right here is actually the place of safety. It says they going to escape out of his hand. 42.
He shall stretch forth his hand also upon the countries, and the land of Egypt shall not escape.
Uh-huh.
But he shall have power over the treasures of gold and of silver, and over all the precious things of Egypt, and the Libyans and the Ethiopians shall be at his steps.
Right. So it's right outside of Jerusalem. You got here, it says Edom and Moab and the chief of the children of Ammon. That right there, this is your place of safety. How large is it? I don't know how large is it. Far as
Geographically.
landmass.
Yeah.
I don't. But this right here is the place of safety. Go to Go to, let's see, if I want this. Go to Isaiah 16. Isaiah 16 and pick it up at verse 1. When you get it, my brother, go ahead.
Send ye the lamb to the ruler of the land from Selah to the wilderness, unto the mount of the daughter of Zion. For it shall be that as a wandering bird cast out of the nest, so the daughters of Moab shall be at the fords of Arnon.
Oh, it says, and it shall be that as a wandering bird cast out of the nest, so the daughters of Moab shall be at the fords of Aaron. Go ahead.
Take counsel, execute judgment, make thy shadow as the night in the midst of the noonday. Hide the outcast.
Oh, it says hide the outcast. Who will be the outcast? That's Israel. It says hide the outcast. Go ahead.
Bewray not him that wandereth.
Don't berate him that wander. Go ahead.
Let my outcast dwell with thee, Moab.
Oh, it says, let my outcast dwell with thee, Moab. Keep in mind, when we read the book of Daniel, it says, in the middle of 41, it says, but these shall escape out of his hand, even Edom and Moab, and the chief of the children of Ammon. Going back to Isaiah 16, it says what? Let my outcast dwell with thee, Moab. Go ahead.
Be thou a covert to them from the face of the spoiler. For the extortioner is at an end. The spoiler ceaseth. The oppressors are consumed out of the land.
Out of the land. But it says, he says, let my outcast dwell with thee, Moab. But that's part of the landmass of where the wilderness is gonna be at. You got Moab, Ammon, and Edom. Now I don't know how large it's gonna be. I don't know how large it is, but go to Isaiah 11. Isaiah 11. Matter of fact, go to Isaiah 35. Isaiah 35. Isaiah 35 and pick it up at verse 1. This the wilderness right here. When you get it, my brother, go ahead.
The wilderness and the solitary place shall be glad for them, and the desert shall rejoice and blossom as the rose.
Oh, it says, in the wilderness and the solitary place shall be glad for them, and the desert shall rejoice and blossom as the rose, because it's a desert right now. It's nothing there. Straight desert. Go ahead.
It shall blossom abundantly.
Oh, it's going to blossom abundantly. Keep going.
And rejoice even with joy and singing.
Uh-huh.
The glory of Lebanon shall be given unto it, the excellency of Carmel and Sharon. They shall see the glory of the Lord and the excellency of our God.
Go ahead.
Strengthen ye the weak hands and confirm the feeble knees.
That's right.
Say to them that are of a fearful heart.
Oh, of a fearful heart. Be what?
Be strong.
Be strong.
Fear not.
Don't be scared. You're going to have a lot of that even when the tribulation kick off. You know, you're going to have, I'm pretty sure it's going to be some doses in the word going to have a fearful heart. They're going to be like, when it come down to crunch time, hey, they're going to be, man, I don't know if I should go. You know what I mean? Just 10 years ago, you was gun-ho. Man, I can't wait to get up out of here. Now it's time to crunch time. Man, I don't know. But, hey, but it says, say to them that are of a fearful heart, be strong, fear not. Go ahead.
Behold, your God will come with vengeance.
That's right.
Even God with the recompense. He will come and save you.
That's right.
Then the eyes of the blind shall be open, and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped.
Go ahead.
Then shall the lame man leap as an hart, the tongue of the dumb sing.
Go ahead.
For in the wilderness shall waters break out in streams in the desert.
Oh, it says, for in the wilderness shall waters break out and streams in the desert. So we ain't got to worry about nothing. We're going to have everything that we need at the wilderness. We just got to get there. Just like how the children of Israel got up out of Egypt into the wilderness. They ain't want for nothing. They just kept murmuring about stuff. But even the stuff that they murmured for, the Lord gave them. You want what they was crying about?
But the
chicken.
What was it? Them birds. He gave them flesh out of their nose
Man,
and
he
started
said-
coming out their nose. What it was? What the thing? Quail.
Quail.
Yeah.
Coming out their ears and nose, they wanted
man.
it.
Yeah, they wanted it. He gave it to them.
But but the Lord will provide for. He gonna provide for them. He gonna provide for us as well. They shoes ain't never ran out. But it says here, then shall the lame man leap as a harp in the tongue. It says, for in the wilderness shall waters break out and streams in the desert. Verse 7.
And the parched ground shall become a pool.
Oh, because like I said, it's a desert right now.
Hard ground. Mm-hmm.
It says, in the parched ground, which is dry. Because when you parch, your throat dry, right? You want some water. But it says here, the parched ground shall become a pool. What else, bruh?
And the thirsty land springs of water.
Oh, in the thirsty land, springs of water. We think we drinking some good spring water now. You wait till you get to the wilderness. That's gonna be the best spring water you gonna ever taste. What else, bruh?
In the habitation of dragons, where each lace shall be grass with reeds and rushes.
Oh, it says in the habitation of dragons, because we know when you go to I like to look at the little geographic stuff, especially when it come down to like different deserts and stuff like that. That all you see is cactus and them Komodo dragons and all that, and different kind of lizards and stuff. But it says here in the habitation of dragons, which once was dragons, it says where each lay, it says shall be grass and reeds and rushes. So once was a habitation for dragons to lay eggs. Now you're gonna have grass there. So this right here is the place, where it's the place of safety. Place of safety. But far as how large it's gonna be, I don't know how large it's going. It got to be big enough. It got to just be, it don't even matter of fact. It don't even matter how large it is. That's just like how the Lord got upset with David for counting Israel. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you counting Israel for?
I told you they were gonna be as the sand.
They gonna be the sand as the sea. What you counting them for? You don't need to know how many people you got.
Right.
So we don't need to know how large the mass is. We just need to get there. It obviously is gonna be big enough for, a nation of people to get in.
Right.
And just like how Israel got out of Egypt, it say, it was a mixed multitude that came with them. So
it's gonna be large enough. Right?
It's gonna be large enough.
Right.
For Israelites, in the flesh and spiritual Israel. Other nations that came into the covenant and trusting this word and obeying what the Lord say. And when it was a time, and when the time came to flee, they did exactly what the Lord told them to do. Flee. Yep. This guy here. Like a big old teddy bear. Huggy bear. But that's it, unless you got
answer.
something.
Nah, that was a good answer. Wrote me some notes to that one. That was a good one. I mean, shoot.
Yeah, ain't
that's
nothing else.
You don't need. We don't need to know how big. That don't matter. I mean,
it really don't.
I mean, that was a great question though, bro. But just seeing all this right here, this is what you can find some some Salacy, knowing out that this is what it's gonna look like when you get there. Boy, it's gonna be enough.
Yup.
The Lord gonna be doing all this right here to us, and to the ground, the parched ground. I ain't know that mean like burnt up, like like dry and hard with intense heat. You gonna make that joint become a pool,
Yup.
and the thirsty land springs of water.
Yup. Got anything else on there?
That's
Anything
it.
else?
That's it. That room.
Okay. Matter of fact, go ahead and read. Go on to
Keep reading.
go on to verse 8. Yeah.
All right. And in verse 8, and in highway shall be there, and a
Uh-huh.
way. This shall be called the way of holiness. The unclean shall not pass over it, but it shall be for those. The wayfaring man, though
Mhm.
fools shall not err therein.
Right. So when it's all said and done, you're gonna have what it says here. It says, and a highway should be there, and a way, and it shall be called the highway of holiness. Because when it's all said and done with those 3.5 years, the Lord, He gonna have to do some purging. He gonna have to do some purging. Hey, oops,
Judah.
Judah,
Judah.
trying to save you, bruh. We try.
So when it say the wayfaring man, that means, because I just looked up the definition of wayfaring, it say person traveling on foot.
That's us.
That's us.
Yeah,
Like trying to get there.
trying to get there.
So we get in, but fools, you ain't gonna just slip
Right.
in.
Because you got to keep in mind before we even, because after the great tribulation, only thing left next is the 1,000 years of peace.
Okay.
So, but before we can even get into the land, He got to purge out the rebels. Before
Okay.
we get into the land,
Okay.
He got to
It-
purge them out.
And that's after the Great Tribulation.
That's after the great
Okay,
tribulation.
Okay.
'Cause that's why it says here, it says in the wayfaring man, it says, thou fool shall not err therein.
So you ain't gonna just slip up and make
You
it
can't
in there.
get in.
Yeah.
It says, no lion shall be there, nor any ravenous beast shall go up thereon, and it shall not be found there, but the redeemed shall walk there. And the ransom of the Lord shall return and come to Zion with songs and everlasting joy upon their heads. They shall obtain joy and gladness, and sorrows and singing shall flee away. Go to Ezekiel 20.
Question two.
Ezekiel 20. And pick it up at 33.